70,000, 80,000 Somalis sent to Minnesota so they could vote in Ilhan Omar. That's how it was set up. Do you know that they are inbred so much that their IQ is between 60 and 80? If y'all don't get y'all fraudulent, scamming, cross-eyed, big four-headed, incestual asses up out of here. We know you married your brother. Take y'all illegal scamming asses on. Get out. I'm on my way to Minnesota. I'm on my way to ask you questions. You didn't want to say nothing to the white boy that was asking. You wanted to threaten the white boy, but I bet you won't threaten me. I bet you won't tell me to get on. I bet I won't. Let's go to Minnesota. Let me call my brother and my best friend, and let's start a TV show. Let's go around to all these places and figure out what is going on. I'm already in Dearborn. Let's start there first. Those need to go to.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We got a lot to get into. Man. ICE is in Minnesota and they're handling business. I don't know about you. I want to hear from you in the comment section. Is this what you voted for? This is what I voted for. Hit that like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it.
I asked my mom, you know, I got at least like... She said okay? Yeah. Okay, perfect.
For you to be here. You're following me. Yeah, but, okay. If you leave the property, I wouldn't be following you, sir. I wouldn't.
Yes.
It's official. ICE is in the building. Obviously, the Somalis aren't happy, but it's okay. It's okay. If they're illegal, if you're committing crimes, if you are stealing taxpayer dollars, you got to go.
They run. Yeah. Ha.
And the police is on its way, yeah.
They called the police.
ICE والله. way joogaan والله. baabuurtooda ku carreen laakiin. Yeah. ICE waaye guriga Maxamed Daawuda ka ceerinay. Yeah.
Y'all see this? Y'all see this? It says 2 Somali women driving were pulled by ICE. Beware, they're driving mom cars, but they called the police on ICE. But there's a reason that they called the police on ICE. Check this out.
Folks that are masked, that they're not sure if they're law enforcement, that they may be kidnapping people. Like, we have had those reports. I want to be clear to the community. The community should know that if you see something like that, that is legitimate, that you don't know if someone is law enforcement, you should call 911. And you should provide as much information as possible, because let's not forget, we very recently had tragedy in this state by someone who was purporting to be law enforcement. So please, let's be clear. That's something everyone should report, and that we will immediately respond to, and we will document, whether it's somebody's not sure if there's a kidnapping happening, somebody's not sure if that there's law enforcement present or not. And that's something else, that's additional policy requirements that we are implementing, that we will document and report these types of things anytime that we hear it, and reminding our officers of their duty to intervene. So if there is anything that is, a violation of someone's human rights or civil rights, excessive force or anything like that, they absolutely have a duty to intervene as police officers.
These people are enemies of the state. Let's just call it what it is. These people are enemy of our government, of our nation. They, crap all over the Constitution, crap all over the American people. They don't care. It's solely about power. These people should be ashamed of themselves, but they're not. But they should be. I want you to hear from this brother who lives in Minneapolis and does work. I want you guys to hear from him and what he's experienced when it comes to dealing with these Somali individuals?
I'm from Minneapolis, and Somalians are just part of the culture here. As far back as I can remember, I've always seen Somalians. And in these past 5 years, the population increased so much. It went from seeing them to them feeling like the majority a lot of places that I go. And also over the past few years, I've noticed that I see a lot of them with new cars. So I'm a handyman, and I worked on a lot of Section 8 housing to make sure they're up to standard. And one thing I've noticed when I go to these Section 8 houses, one, it's usually a Somali family. And what I mean, usually it's 9 times out of 10. And those houses usually have new cars in the front. I mean, cars with an S, multiple new cars.
How many of you guys can afford a new car? A new car. How many of you guys can afford that?
And what I mean usually is like 8 out of 10 Somali houses, I've seen that. And I always wondered how someone on Section 8 can afford multiple new cars. I just couldn't put it together. So now finding out about this fraud stuff makes so much sense. And you know who I feel bad for other than me for paying for that shit with my taxes? Is Somalians who came here on the up and up and who didn't break the law. Because as a black man, I know how it feels to be judged because someone else with your same skin color did some stupid shit that you wouldn't approve of. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but one thing I do know is I've been saying for years we need to kick Tim Walsh out because he knew about this shit from the beginning.
He definitely did. And we talked about this on the live stream this morning. Dude's either a moron or he's on the take. I'm leaning with it's both. Dude's a moron and he's on the take. That's what I'm leaning with. I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section.
Look, I'll say the same thing I said to other chiefs of police in sanctuary cities. Shame on you. I mean, your number one responsibility is the safety and security of your communities. And ICE is targeting criminals. Criminals. So for you not to partner with ICE to make your community safer is shameful. He ought to put his badge in the desk drawer and walk away because he stopped being a cop, become a politician. If a true law enforcement official would work with ICE, okay, look, I don't want to be an immigration officer. I'll leave that to you guys. But when we have an illegal alien public safety threat in the community, I want to be shoulder to shoulder with you. I want to help you make my community safer because the chief of police, that's my number one responsibility. If he wants to watch, stand aside, do it. But if you cross that line, Pam Bondi and her U.S. attorneys are waiting to prosecute anybody that impedes law enforcement, ICE law enforcement, Border Patrol law enforcement in doing their job. Zero tolerance for impeding ICE in their operation.
I'm with Mr. Tom Holman here. Zero tolerance for these people. The fact that you have law enforcement agencies all across the country in these sanctuary cities that are defying the federal government, I think it's insane. Now, I understand the autonomy that each city and each state has. I get it. But the federal government's job is to uphold the immigration laws in this nation. Their job also is to protect our northern and southern borders, as well as the coastlines, east and on the west coast. And the fact that we have people in office that are law enforcement officers that are siding with the politicians, siding, against public safety. Let's just call it what it is. That's what they're doing. And they're actually siding with the criminals in this matter is blasphemous, to say the least. And these people should be ashamed of themselves. And I'm with Tom Holman here. Hey, leave your badge at the desk and go on somewhere, man. Seriously, this is ridiculous.
Add up to. Why are they engaged in all this? What is their objective here? It's the Somalification of America. In other words, when you see the state of Somalia, that's what they want for America at the end of the day, because it's easier to rule over an empire of ashes than it is for the Democratic Party to rule over a functioning, Western, high-trust society with a strong middle class. Look how powerful the Democrat Party became in Minnesota once they flooded it with 100,000 Somalians. Once the elections were decided, right, by clan rivalries and ethnic feuds. Once that happened, the Democrat Party became permanently powerful in Minnesota. They became permanently powerful in the Twin Cities. That's their model for America, to make the whole country into a version of Somalia. And everything they do gets down to that. So when you ask me what I'm thankful for, this Thanksgiving, I praise God every day that Donald Trump is our president, and we've gone from 30% inflation, 20 million illegals, unlimited refugees.
Yeah, I'm with him. I voted for this. I voted for this to happen. And I understand exactly what he's talking about in reference to the Somalification of the nation. Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, they have a stronghold on what's going on out there in Minnesota. No different than what's going on out there in California. That's what they want. The Democrat Party want people that come from the third world that do not really understand the rights that we have here, those unalienable rights that we have here in this country. They don't understand it. And they don't understand that, one, those rights doesn't come from government or man. They actually come from God. And they want people to come over here that are easily controlled, easily enslaved. Give them, little trinkets here and there, enough to survive, never enough to thrive. But these people are thankful because it's so much better than where they came from. And if you don't believe me, I want you to see this clip right here.
wireless here. أنا معهم لأن دبي أنت لولو باسبور كي ولا يقاتي وأني سأوك جراء أنتو قفا إمبسي لسؤال لكورو إلا كبغي لسؤال عند علي. I don't want to be here no more. I'm so tired of being here. This place. This is where I'm living. I'm so tired of it. It's just like I want to go back. I don't want to be here no more. I don't cut my hair. I don't shave. I don't do nothing. I just want to go back.
I don't have a lot of sympathy for this guy. Actually, I don't have any sympathy for this guy. These are the same people that come over here, wave their flags, act like where they came from is so much better than the country. They don't come over here to assimilate. They come over here to take over. They come over here to eat off of the hard work that people like yourself and myself and our families and our forefathers have accomplished in this country. And they essentially spit in our face. They don't like us. They don't want to assimilate. They say they don't care for our nation. I mean, come on, man. How many of these people that you see come over here waving their flags around, super quote unquote proud of their nation that they don't want to live in? Yeah. And instead of coming over here and being grateful and being thankful, they spit in your face and act like where they came from is way better than this place. These people are insane.
Trump shutting off the money faucet for fraudsters. Somali pirates in Minnesota looted us for $1 billion with a B. And that doesn't count all the welfare we handed out after importing them here.
If you added the welfare, I mean, it's multiple billions.
Now it's time for a refund.
You told me to look into Minnesota and their fraud on visas and their programs. 50% of them are fraudulent, which means that wacko Governor Walz either is an idiot or he did it on purpose. And I think he's both, sir. We're going to remove them and we're going to get our money back.
The Somalis are upset that the free money and fraud are coming to an end.
We need leaders who will invest in our neighbors, not attack them. The Somali community in Minnesota is the backbone of the state.
Really? We've invested plenty.
How do you say that the Somali community is the backbone of the state? Are you freaking kidding me? I'm for sure there's some people in southern and northern Minnesota that would feel very different.
Were stolen. We don't owe the Somalis anything. Now, Tim Walz is under investigation by the Treasury Department and Congress.
They need to focus on the war crimes that are coming up. They need to focus on making life more affordable. They need to focus on the issues they're dealing with. But this is a president in spiral doing nothing to make life cheaper for Minnesotans or Americans.
So Walz lets pirates plunder his booty and he thinks Trump's spiraling?
I think the man's a grossly incompetent man. I thought that from the day I watched JD destroy him in the debate. I was saying, who is more incompetent, that man or my man? I had a man and he had a man. There's something wrong with him, okay? There's something wrong with him.
Democrats in Minnesota are panicking. The money's drying up and their biggest voting blocs going adios. The pirates donated thousands to the mayor of Minneapolis. And now he's telling ICE to leave the Somalis alone. He also said this.
To our Somali community, Daman Shabka, Somaliyed Kunul, Minnesota Garahan, Minneapolis, Waan Ku Janila Hai, Waan Ku Gereb Taganahan.
What? Seriously, what?
We don't speak Somali, but he probably didn't say, give us the money back.
Of course
Ilhan
not.
Omar also got donations from the scammers. So the Somalis stole money from taxpayers and donated it to Democrats. Huh. And the Democrats never looked into this. Huh.
Of course not.
And she's not the only one. Minnesota's AG, Keith Ellison, was supposed to be stopping the fraud, but he was caught on tape talking to the crooks 1 month before the FBI raided their headquarters. They said government agencies were racist, and the attorney general said he'd make a call.
Just getting the question, just getting the inquiry from the AG is sometimes enough to make people knock it off.
And then they started talking cash.
And we are willing to put our money where our mouths are in that sense, helping elected officials that are interested in protecting communities of color specifically.
So Ellison said this meeting isn't about money. But a few weeks later, donations were dropped into his account. And now he's playing the race card.
He wants us pointing fingers at each other while he and his cronies run a scam on America. Weaponizing negative stereotypes and racism against our neighbors is morally wrong.
White people get blamed for stuff their ancestors did hundreds of years ago. But you're not allowed to punish Somalis for ripping us off today? If we're so bad, why is everybody trying to come here? Maybe it's because their country's not so great. Ask the Somalis.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain and do nothing, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
I'm with the president 1,000% with everything that he just said. And I showed you the clip of the dude that went over there and basically had to stay. You seen the background. You seen what it looked like back there. This is a war-torn nation who have been feuding amongst each other, and the tribes don't get along with each other. It's carried on right over here into this country. We don't want them. We don't want that. We don't want that mindset here in our nation. Let's listen to Cash Patel.
Of criminal information or terrorist ties, and we are going to do that mission.
And, Mr. Director, another big issue that is concerning Americans, and it involves the refugee community, but in Minnesota, is the Treasury Department's investigation of that massive fraud there in the Somali community. So how is the FBI working that, and what can you tell us tonight, given the plethora of reporting and the defensive posture of both the mayor and the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz?
What I can tell you is the FBI let out on an investigation, and we publicized it months ago. We've got 78 people that have been arrested pursuant to our investigation along with the interagency, and that investigation is very much ongoing. We are not finished. It was one of the largest fraud scams ever committed in the state of Minnesota history, and we are going to continue to interview and subpoena anyone involved with this case. It is very much ongoing and live.
There are a lot of foreign...
Yeah, and they've already arrested 78. There need to be hundreds and hundreds of more that are arrested. Seriously. I want to play this last clip from you, from Press Secretary. I want you to check this out, and we're going to get up out of here.
You said, and I quote, leaders also have the duty to preserve the integrity and character of our nation's national identity. Can you explain what you mean by our nation's national identity and integrity and character, and how would refugees, people coming from war-torn places who are seeking a safe haven in America, like many of our forebears in this room, not add to our nation's integrity and character of our national identity?
I'll tell you what does not add to our nation's character and integrity is refugees who come here under the alleged plight of asylum and fleeing persecution, and then come to the United States to abuse our system and rip off American taxpayers. And as I pointed out, the New York Times, to their credit, it was about 6 months too late, but they did write about how Somali immigrants in Minnesota have been ripping off American taxpayers. In fact, 86 people have been charged in a rampant and widespread fraud scheme spanning multiple programs in Minnesota. Of those 86, 78 of those people are Somali, 91% of them charged. So far, 59 of those people have been convicted for their roles in fraud plots that have stolen $1 billion from taxpayers. In one scheme, and this is egregious, a nonprofit and its affiliates with these Somali migrants claimed to have fed tens of thousands of American children during the pandemic. They were reimbursed for those meals by taxpayers. However, federal prosecutors found that almost all of those meals were never even delivered to hungry children. In fact, those organizations' leaders spent the money on houses, luxury cars, and real estate in Turkey and Kenya. Another scheme involved hundreds of organizations who were reimbursed for services that were supposed to help people at risk of homelessness. Once again, those services were never provided. All of this has happened under Democrat leadership in a Democrat-run state where these refugees, these migrants are coming to the United States. They are abusing our system. They are draining our resources that should be going to law-abiding, taxpayer-funded, tax-paying Americans. And this president is not going to put up with it anymore.
Mic drop. And the American people shouldn't be putting up with it anymore. Seriously. The American people should not be putting up with this anymore. A lot of folks are working their tails off 30, 40, 50 years. And when it's all said and done, they have nothing more times than not. And you get people that come over here that won't assimilate. They don't try to speak the language and they steal. And then they turn around, send the money back to their home country or buy homes in other countries around the world. The grift has to come to a close. Seriously, it has to stop. Unsustainable. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw.